Hello guys, what's up? So here we are again, and today we are gonna take a look on Blender, trying to find a way of replicate ForcePack, which is a very well-known plugin we have been using in 3D Max for a long time, and it still is very industry standard plugin for scattering vegetation, whatever elements on your scene. And the plugin is really complete. It works really well, and our challenge today here is scatter trees, bushes and vegetation in terrain, and I'm gonna show you how to do that, because that is most of the use that we do on ArcFIS side and for ForcePack. So we are gonna try to replicate that here in Blender using just Blender standard particle system, right? That's a frequent questions people keep asking all the time. What about ForcePack? There is something similar to ForcePack. Well, it depends on how deep you use ForcePack, because for every single case that I've been using ForcePack in the past in ArcFIS, I've been working on this area for about 12 years. The particle system in Blender will cover pretty much everything that I needed and have been using based on ForcePack. So let's put our hands on it, right? First of all, let's activate the key so you guys can see here. Let me see, it's fine. Yeah, so we see whatever button I press here. Right, so first of all, we need a surface to add a ForcePack, the ForcePack on top of it. Okay, let's do this. I'm tired of glass. I've been using glass the whole day. Okay, we are gonna bring a landscape, right? So we have our landscape here. We are gonna expand this landscape, right, for a bit, something like this, right? And playing around a bit. I'm not gonna be that fancy, I just want something cool, maybe something like that. Okay, that's good enough. Click outside, right? We expand this guy. Let's put this guy bigger. We need some trees and vegetation, so I'm gonna download it from my Simple Asset Manager. So I have a couple collections here for trees. Let's see which tree, maybe this one. Let's append this tree. So here we go, this is the tree. Put this tree here. Let's append another tree. Which tree? Which tree, guys? Maybe this guy. Append. Here we go, here we go. Let's bring it here. Let's choose another one. Maybe this guy over here. Yeah, let's bring this guy. Alright. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now we go for some plants. Some plants. Let's bring whatever bush. Let's bring some colored bushes so you can see them better on the scene and the difference from the parts that we are gonna scatter, right? So we bring it. It's a high poly mesh, so it's gonna take some time to bring this guy over here, but then once it's working, it's working. Let's take this guy now. Oh, you know, let's pick up some greenery. And then here we go. I don't like really to have gizmos here in Blender, so I'm gonna remove it. Right? Okay, let's bring one more just in case. Just in case, let's bring what? What do you guys think? Oh, let's bring a bush. Let's see if it's gonna load the brush. Okay, it doesn't load. It's a bug on the, it's a bug that happened on the add-on, so I have to open again to show the brush. Let's bring this guy. Okay. Oh, the way I've been working on Blender and vegetation, it's because I was the one that had created this library. So I had created this library already in a way that it can be useful for handle it well on my viewport. For example, you see this tree is not like that, right? This tree is not like that. Why is that? It's because we have decimate modifier applied and the level of subdivision is 0.05. This means that I'm seeing like less than 0.05, about 0.05% of my mesh here. This is amazing for optimization. Look like a proxy, look like a V-Ray proxy, right? But actually it's not a V-Ray proxy, because V-Ray proxy links to a geometry which is outside the file, and that's not what I'm doing here. I have the mesh in my scene, but the mesh, it's not that heavy for me to see on the viewport, right? That's the tricky part. You see, you can see how the mesh is if you deactivate it here, and you can go maybe here on the workbench, and then you see how the mesh should look like. Or you can go for render, right? So here you go. This is how the mesh should look like, right? But that's not what we want. We want to see that, optimize it even more, because you're going to scatter that, right, onto your mesh. Okay, now I'm going to show the gizmo just to show you which issue you are going to face here, right? Let's put it local. Alright, right now my meshes are okay because I did that already, but sometimes your y-axis is not pointing out to up, right? And in Blender it should be pointing out to up, so your meshes will be in the proper position compared with the normals in the mesh. So if this guy, by some reason, let's press Control point, if this guy is like that, it's like rotated in rotate somehow, right, like this, your mesh is gonna be scattered wrong, right? So we are gonna put it back. If it's like this, you just need to go to your mesh and rotate the axis and pointing the y axis to up, right? So now it should be fine, right? And a good practice is always, once you fix something in your scene or in your mesh or tree, something that you normally use, you commonly use that, you just save that as I did on my library, so I don't have to work twice. Every time I download it, the mesh is wrong, I have to do that. No, I did that once, save that, and that's all. Create my library. That's a good practice, right? Okay, we can tell, by the way, right away that the terrain, it's not in a good scale. Let's scale this up. Let's scale this more like this. Alright, here we go. So first of all, we are going to be using the Blender particle system, which is default. It comes with Blender. So we take this guy, right? We take this guy and we go here, apply a particle system, right? We create a new one, put it here, right? So it will create a hair by default, and then that's the tricky part. So you have to go here on render, right, and choose which object you want to scatter, right? This means that you choose the object and you pick up the object here. So for example, you pick up this tree and the particle system is gonna scatter that tree all over the place, right? That's what's gonna happen. But I have to put this object, sorry, it was path. And then you scatter the tree, and then it's gonna be the tree, right? The tree is very small. We can scale up here, something like this. We will press advanced, so we go to rotation, right? And then we put wherever X we want. Let's say we want maybe in Z, so we go Z, and then we randomize it here, right? Or Y, or even velocity here, right? And then we change the phase of the randomization, right? So now it's very random, very random, the trees, the scatter on the trees, right? So it should be fine. Let's take a camera here and check it out, how it will be. So I'm gonna put this instead of oh no, actually the scale was good. The scale was good before. Anyway, let's put 10,000. Right? Oh, not here, sorry, on the camera. We select the camera, we go here in the camera, and we put the range. The range, 1,000 is good enough. 1,000 is good enough. If we render it out, how it's gonna be, let's see. So the trees will be there, and Blender is calculating a bit because the other trees are in the scene as well, the bushes and everything. So it's basically it's calculating everything, and then it will start to render. So our tree is pretty much there, scattered all over the place, right? Okay, I'm not gonna be pushing this too much. I'll leave it here for now, right? So that's one particle system. What I like to do is I go to particle system, this particle system, I create another one, a second one duplicated from this one, right? Second particle system. And this particle system, I press here on this button, so it creates, instead of an instance, because wherever you change in one here, you're gonna change in the other one. So I press this, and now it's not an instance anymore. This is a generical idea in Blender. Everything works like that. And then I change the seed, which is the distribution of my object. And then I can go here and select another object, right? But that's not the way I like to work, right? We have to take advantage of the goodness that Blender 2.8 bring to us, right? So let's delete this particle system, and let's put, let's say, the main trees on one single collection, right? Let's create a new collection, and we call like main trees. Main trees. Okay, so all of them now are inside this collection, right? And we take this guy, these guys, and we put in another collection like bushes. Let's say the bushes, right? And for now, we are not gonna render out the bushes, just to optimize our workflow. And then we go to the particle system right here. Instead of we choose the object, we are going to choose the collection. We are going to choose the collection, right? And then we go here and choose the collection, which is where's the collection? Main trees. So now we can tell that we have all the trees scattered on the scene, right? But That's something that you have to be aware when you work with particles. This is something that ForcePack does immediately. ForcePack optimizes immediately the tree and the bushes, and it tells you right away, oh, this is gonna be too much, we should change it to point clouds, something like that. And then ForcePack has a way of represent that in a point cloud, so it's not heavy for your viewport. Blender doesn't have that. If you don't tell Blender, it's gonna do like that. It's gonna just scatter like that, right? So what I like to do is I like to come here, right, and go to the mesh here, put visibility, right, and then I change it, oh no, viewport display, and then I change this to bounce, right? I change this to bounce. So I have my instance here, my particle system, but is in bounds, right? If I go here now in my particle system and change this to, let's say, I don't know, 4,000, it's gonna be massive like a hell, right? Let's try to render out this, put less, maybe 20, and we render out and see how it goes. It's gonna take less time to calculate because we don't have the plants. So we have our scene here now, it's rendering out, right? So fast, great. Right, and I like the result. From the very beginning, I like it already. Right? How can you make the trees? How can you show more one tree than the other tree? If you are using collection, the only way that you can do that, if you go to your particle system, right, you have your collection here, right, and now it's scattering the entire collection at once. It's like this, scattering the entire thing at once, and doesn't take any. Do you know when in ForcePack we guys use a percentage to say, I want a percentage of this, percentage of that. This we do this here, right? We just tell the Blender which trees we want to render more, which trees we want to render less, right? Let's put less pines and more trees, and then now we press render and we will see a different result because Blender is taking more in account the distribution we are telling Blender to do. You see, you can tell right away that right now we have less pines and more trees scattered all over the place, right? That's good. Do you like this? I hope you guys are liking that, right? But let's say, okay, now we are going for the plants, right? Let's pick up the plants. What we do now, because we want a different collection, scatter over there, right? We will take it in this particle system and duplicate it. We duplicate it and make it a single again, right? We make it a single again. And then for this instance, we are going to change main trees to bushes. But before we change it to bushes, we're gonna go here, right? Select one of them at least, because if we go here and we change it to bounce, right, it's gonna change it just this guy, right? So then we press Ctrl L and we make link from the way the object is seen on the viewport, right? And I'm not sure if it's this. No, I break the thing. I press it, Ctrl Z. That's fine. We're gonna get back. That's fine. Because I pressed it wrong. That wasn't what I want to say. That wasn't what I want to say. Okay, what I want to say is that I have this selected the last. I press here with my left button and I press copy to select. So all of them is going to be showing as a bump, right? Forget my mistakes because I'm a human being. Okay, and then we have here our particle system here, right? And then now we choose the bushes, amazing, crazy, amazing. And then we have the bushes here, scattered like a hell, right? But I really want these to be scattered like a hell, you know. I'm not gonna be how can I say that? I want to scatter these like almost like a grass, you know. So for that, instead of I use look at that, instead of I use none, I'm gonna use maybe interpolated one, but that's gonna be crazy. This number is gonna be too much. It's too much. Let's put 1,000. And now it's showing 10% of this 1,000. It's just showing 10%, right? If we go to the camera and then we try to render again, we will see that's gonna take longer to render, right? It's gonna take longer to render. Right now, and see what we can get from that, right? Starts calculating pine trees, and you can control, you can even remove that from the collection based on the particle system. Instead of you use 1 or 2 or 3 to control the amount of the objects you have on that, you can put in some objects 0 and then it's gonna render like 0, you know. Okay, right now I think we have kind of pretty much the entire ground is covered by grass and bushes everywhere. So it's very satisfying. The result, it's not bad. It looks like a very dense forest, which doesn't really happen in reality. This kind of density is not very common, but yeah, you see, it could be totally covered by the trees, right? Okay, so now we are gonna see quickly here how you can paint the waves in a way that you can get your particle system scattered in some place that you want, some place that you don't want, that you can remove it. So we press Ctrl Tab, go to these options, we choose vertex paint, no, weight paint, right? Choose weight paint. Let's hide the particle system, right? And then we start to painting the weight here. Oh my goodness, this got so much more optimized with the latest Blender versions. I remember back in the days, if you have your mesh very very subdivided, it wouldn't be that easy to paint it out, right? I'm just trying to define some areas for the pines, right? Let's say this is good enough. We choose kind of maybe smear 2, so we can kind of random a bit here and there, right? So we don't get these plots like this, right? Something like more random, or maybe even the blur, but I think the blur is, oh no, now it's fast. Okay, these guys, Blender Foundation is doing a great job on Blender, right? Okay, now we can take this guy. This guy has been saved here in the group, so we can maybe name this as the pines, right? Pine. And then we can create no, okay, I'm not gonna create the other one for the grass, because I want the grass and the bushes to be scattered everywhere, right? So we can go here now, go to the particle systems, and we can set up the pines, right? The pines to be based on a group, vertex group, density and scale. Okay, let's put density and scale and see how it goes, right? And right now, if we press render, you see that the pines will be pretty much where it's green, where it's red, it's gonna be covered by pines, and when it starts to fade into the blue, the pines will start to disappear, pretty much, right? So yeah, let's see how it goes. Copy transformation to device. Okay, that's all good. Here we go. That's very non-realistic landscape, but you guys can got it, right? So a big part of the place, the pines and all the trees on that collection will start to fade in scale and in quantity from the red area, right? That was the goal here, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how you can use it, how you can use your mesh for scatter things, and it's always editable, right? If you take this guy, copy here and put it back, you have your mesh like kind of you have your particle system divided in the sense that it will try to cover the entire thing. Probably it will reduce, it will reduce the amount of scatter, because it still will be, let's say, still will be 1,000 or 4,000, but scattered in two different meshes. Just for the sake of the curiosity, let's see how it goes, because I'm curious. I'm a curious person. Let's see. All right. Probably it's gonna be very sparse, the bushes. I think the bush is not gonna look like good. It will be like very sparse, and the pines as well, I guess. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's how you use your mesh as your first pack, right? That's how pretty much you use a particle system in Blender as a first pack. For now it's like this, but Blender is gonna change it a lot and the particle system is going to be node based, which will be way more powerful. In the next versions, it doesn't gonna take longer for them to release that. I think this year it's gonna be released new particle system, so it's gonna be way more advanced than this. But for now, that's how you can replace force pack in Blender, right? I hope you guys like it. See you soon.